So this is the script for referee sprite for choice 2. Okay, for game 2, choice 2. This is the individual games sprite script if choice 2 is swimming, and this is the team game sprite script if choice 2 is football. Okay, it's same. The cat sprite will ask you to enter game 2. Okay, after suppose you have the player entered the game as swimming. Okay, the swimming will be saved in the variable called game 2, and then the cat sprite will say swimming for 2 seconds, and then the cat sprite will broadcast swimming 2 and wait. So when the sprite swimming will receive swimming 2, the sprite swimming will say I'm game 2 for 2 seconds. So swimming is individual, so individual game will be saved, the type of game will be saved in choice 2. Now suppose you have entered here football. Okay, so when the cat sprite broadcasts football 2, okay, the football sprite will receive football 2, will use the instructions when I receive football 2. The football sprite will say I'm game 2 for 2 seconds, and football is a team game, so team will be saved. Okay, the type of game will be saved in choice 2 variable. Okay, after that the sprite's cat will say the second game selected is, if it's individual it will display your individual, if it's team it will display team game on the stage. Alright, now after Tejas and Jyoti wrote the script for referee and game sprites, okay, Jyoti said now we have to build a program for comparing choice 1 and choice 2. Okay, so Moss asked him, what would the referee sprite do now? So Tejas said, referee sprites compares the combination of selected games and say whether it's valid or invalid. See, in the last class we have learned about the rules of the games, right? Look at this. Rules for choosing combination games are as follows. Participation in 2 team games is not allowed, which is invalid choice. Participation in 2 individual games is allowed, right? Valid choice. And participations in a team game and an individual game is valid. So the referee cat will compare the combination of selected games, and the cat will say whether it's a valid or invalid. Okay, so Moss said, good, but you forgot to include the score. So Tejas said, oh yes, we have to create another variable named score. Now in total how many variables we have to create? 5. Okay, game 1, game 2, choice 1, choice 2, and a variable name called score. Okay, so we have to create another variable name called score. So Jyoti said, this will be fun. If the user enters a valid choice, the value of score will increase, or else if it's invalid it will reduce. Okay, so Mo said, do not forget to reset the value of the variable score to 0 so that every player can have an individual result. Okay, so Tejas said, we can display the final score at the end of the game. Okay, now suppose, Mo said, suppose someone enters their choice 1 again in choice 2. Suppose in choice 1 you have entered football, okay, and again in choice 2 you have entered football, which is team game, right? Suppose someone enters the choice 1 again in choice 2, team game, again in choice 2 also team game. So what will you do in that case? So Jyoti said, we can handle that easily. Okay, we will first write the logic to check if there is any duplicates value. Alright, and then the full comparisons logic is as follows. Let's see the comparison logic. See, the first step is, if the same game is selected twice, then the combination is not valid. Okay, so if game 1 is equal to game 2, then the cat sprite will say duplicate selection of games, invalid combinations. Okay, that means in that case it's invalid, the score will be changed by -10. In case game 1 is equal to game 2, the score will be changed by -10. Okay, the second step, if the two games selected are team games, suppose if the two games is selected are team games like football and basketball, then the combination is not valid. Okay, so if choice 1 is equal to team game and choice 2 is equal to team game, the get sprite will say invalid game combinations. In that case, the score will be changed by -10 again. In case choice 1 and choice 2 are team games, okay, the score will be changed by -10. The rest of the combinations are correct, right? For example, choice 1 is equal to team, choice 2 is equal to individual, then it is a valid combinations. And if choice 1 is individual, choice 2 is also an individual game, then it is a valid combinations. Okay, so Moses, that is a very good comparison sequence, the sequence. Okay, first you are making sure that there are no duplicates. Okay, next, since there is only one more invalid combinations, you are checking for it too. So the rest of the combinations are valid. So Tejas said we will now complete the game. So this is the referee sprite script to display the following choices, and this is the final stage of logic bingo. I hope you are clear up to here. Now, Mo said, excuse me. Well done, Tejas and Jyoti. Now that you have successfully used variables in your project, okay, I want you to explore another options of the data blocks, which is make a list. When you click on data blocks, you will get two options. One is variable, another one is make a list. So most want Tejas and Jyoti to explore this another instructions. I mean another options from data blocks, which is make a list. Okay, so Tejas said, is this something that the list we make for purchasing things from grocery stores? When we go for a grocery stores, we make a list, right? What are the items, what are the things we want to buy? We make a list. So Tejas said, is it something like the list we make for purchasing things from the grocery stores? So most told them, yes, it is similar to lists that we normally use. Okay, now Jyoti said, we will click on it and make a new list. Okay, and let us name it as my list. This is the steps is same like variable. Okay, when you create a variable, you click on data blocks and then you click on variable, you give the variable name, right? Same way, the steps is same for creating my list. You just have to click on data blocks, click on make a list, and then you give the name for the list and click OK, right? So Jyoti said, we will click on it and make new list and let us name it as my list. Okay, so Mo said, when you create a list, okay, you will get 8 different blocks under the list. So these are the different blocks you will get under the list. Now if you click help for make a list block, okay, you can get the functions of all these 10 instructions or commands. Okay, so if you want to know the functions of all these blocks instructions, okay, you just have to right click on make a list and you just have to select the options help. Okay, and then you will get the functions of all these 10 instructions or commands, right? I hope you are clear. See, same like variable. If you click on make a list, you will get this dialog box. You write your list names and click OK, right? Okay, so these are the list helps. Okay, let's go through this. See the block name, my list. All right, it will report all the item in the list. Okay, if you use the instructions add thing to my list, these instructions add the specified items to the end of the list. Okay, delete one of my list. These instructions deletes one or all item from the list. Okay, insert things at one of my list. My list is your list name, right? So inserting at one of my list. So this instruction will insert an item at the specified position in the list. Okay. Next, replace item 1 of my list with. So this instruction will replaces an item in the list with the specified value. Item 1 of my list. This instruction will report the item at the specified position in the list. Okay. Length of my list. This instruction, this commands will report how many items are present in the list. My list contains things. This instruction will report true if the list contains the specified items. Okay. And show list my list. This instructions, this commands will show the list monitor on the stage. Okay. And hide list, my list, it will hide the list monitor from the stage. It will not display on the stage. If you use this, it will display your list on the stage. Okay, I hope everyone is clear. See, list arrow, it's used. Okay, we use this list blocks to store list of numbers or strings. Okay. Now Tejas said, let us build a program, okay, to get 4 items from the users which can be taken while going on a picnic. So Tejas and Jyoti explore the various commands from the list and write the following programs. This is the program. Okay, let me explain you the program. See, when green flag clicked, that means when we click on this green flag, the instructions below this green flag will run. Okay, so delete all of my list. This is the instructions from list, right? If you use these instructions, it will delete all items from the list. Okay, when you run the programs, first it will delete all the items from the list, okay, from my list, which is your list name. And then the cat will say, I'm going for picnic, what all should I tag? For 2 seconds. So the sprite cat will say, I'm going for picnic, what all should I tag? It will display on the stage for 2 seconds. And then the cat will ask the player, okay, tell me item number 1, and the sprite cat will wait. So whatever you entered, it will be saved in answer instructions, remember? So the cat sprite will say, suppose you have entered sunglasses, so the sprite cat will say sunglasses for 2 seconds, okay? And then next, 8 answers to my list. These instructions, 8 instructions, add the specified items, okay, to the end of the list. All right, so your answer, suppose sunglasses, will be 8 over here in this instructions, 8 sunglasses to my list, which is your list. Okay, so your answer will be 8 to your list. Next, the cat sprite will ask you again, tell me item number 2, and wait. Suppose your item number 2 is books, the cat will say books for 2 seconds, and your books will be stored, okay, in your list called my list. Okay, and then the sprite cat will say, ask you again, tell me item number 3, and wait. Suppose you have entered the item number 3 as bat and ball, the cat sprite will say bat and ball for 2 seconds, and that bat and ball will be inserted, will be saved in my list. Okay, 4th options, the sprite cat will ask you again, tell me item number 4, and wait. Suppose your item is food, the sprite cat will say food for 2 seconds, okay, and this food will be saved in my list. Okay, the food, your answer will be saved in my list. Okay, and then after you insert all these 4 items, at last the sprite cat will say they have used the join instructions. Okay, so the sprite cat will say the length of my list is, now we have used the instructions length, so what will be the length, which is, we have inserted 4, right? So length of my list is 4. So it will be displayed here. The length of my list is 4. Okay, length of my list. What is this instruction used for? It will report how many items are present in the list, right? So we have used the length of my list is length of my list. So how many instructions we have inserted, how many items we have inserted? 4, right? So it will display the length of my list is 4 for 2 seconds on the stage. Okay, I hope everyone is clear. Okay, let's see some info. Okay, information. See, there are some blocks in Scratch such as exposition, mouse down, variables. Okay, all these instructions, all these commands which are designed to fit in the input area of other blocks. See, answer instructions, this we put in other blocks, right? So which are designed to fit in the input area of other blocks. Okay, and these types of blocks we call as reporters. Okay, these blocks are called reporters. Now reporters with rounded ends such as variable, mouse, okay, reports numbers of strings and fit in blocks with rounded or rectangular holes such as say hello. Okay, and reporters with pointed ends such as this mouse down, okay, reports values true or false and fit inside blocks with pointed or rectangular holes such as this wait until or say hello. Okay, I hope you are clear with this, right? These types of blocks we call it as reporters. You have to remember that. Okay, reporters block are designed to fit in the input area of other blocks. Okay, so most that's good that you have learned to take input from users and you have used lists and variables. Write more programs and have fun. Chinchinaki. So that's the end of our lesson. I hope everyone is clear. That's all for today. Thank you.